We interrupt our program with a special bulletin. An unidentified object has been spotted in orbit around the Earth.
Greetings, invaders. My name is Scott. This is Book Invasion. Hello. Thank you for joining me on my drive today. Today I'm going to be doing the MONSTERATHON tag, which was created by Kate at Chapter Kate. She's hosting a MONSTERATHON, which is really cool, and I like books about monsters and ghouls and haunting things and spook stuff, and so I signed up to participate. So I will be doing the MONSTERATHON tag and giving everyone some recommendations on books that I have read that contain monsters and spooky things and things that are appropriate for the prompts of this tag. So let's go. Question number 1. Classic creepers. Read a book with a classic horror monster. The book itself does not have to be horror. For this one, I chose Death as the classic horror monster, like the Reaper, Grim Reaper, Death himself. And so the book for that is The Ferryman Institute by Colin Geigel. The Ferryman Institute is about a ferryman works for Death to help usher souls into the afterlife after they die. And he's been doing this for 600 years or something like that. But then he's starting to question why he's still here and what he wants to do with his life, and he kind of wants to get out of it. But how? So, obviously he works for Mr. Death, and he gets a special assignments that could give him his freedom if he so chooses and to become mortal again, or he could pass it up, take the red pill, take the blue pill. So that book was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. The Ferryman Institute by Colin Geigel. And so, number 2, What Big Eyes You Have. Read a book that's over 400 pages. And so this one, there are only a few books that I like to read when they're over like 600 pages. I try to stay under 500 because it's just too much. So, lucky for you, I chose Welcome to Night Vale by Jeffrey Craner and Joseph Fink, I think. And so that book is 401 pages. And if you have not or are not familiar with the Welcome to Night Vale podcast, you can read this book and probably question what the F is going on the whole time. I listened to a few episodes of the podcast and I dove right into the book because someone had recommended it to me. That's another question on the prompts. And it was interesting. I kind of enjoyed it, but it is very much just a cluster F of things happening with kind of a subtle storyline underneath of it all. So that was what I would recommend. That is 401 pages long. Just looking out for you guys. That's all. That's what I'm here for. Prompt number 3, Chimera. Read a book that could be classified under multiple genres. So this one too, I would say Welcome to Night Vale, because it could be, in Goodreads, I think it's classified as fantasy and horror. But another one, besides that, if you want to read a different book, is The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins, which is also fantasy/horror. That book is a total mind F of things. The Library at Mount Char is kind of like American Gods meets kind of I don't know, just younger kids doing those things instead of like the old gods in that book. It's very weird, very strange. And then the other one I would recommend too for multiple genres is 14 by Peter Clines, which is kind of sci-fi because he's mostly written sci-fi stuff, but it can also be classified as horror because towards the last third of the book things take quite a dark and twisted turn. And you can see my review video for that book on my channel in insert plug here. And so, moving on. Number 4, The Real Monsters. Read a book featuring monstrous humans. For that one, I chose One of Us by Craig Galouie, because that book is about a whole group of kids, I suppose, adolescent kids who have been born with deformities, which also can give them like powers. Like the main character, his name is Dog. He just goes by Dog. He walks on 2 legs, but he has the face of a dog, and he can run super fast, smell and hear. There's another boy who has like an upside down face who can predict what the end of your sentences are going to be. There's like a giant blob guy kind of thing who's just like a gelatinous creature, but he's also super smart. There's a guy with like antlers growing out of his head that are huge, and they're just kind of a group of monsters who become the target of kind of prejudice and hate crimes, things like that, in this podunk little town that they're holed up in a quote-unquote house, which is more like a not a prison. I mean, they're put to work on the farm. They're put into a home, but the home isn't very well kept. And it goes on to talk about how the town deals with it, and kind of everything escalates into a giant battle between the real people of the town and these kind of monstrous kids. So that is One of Us by Craig Galouie. That was a great book. See my review for that book on my channel as well. Plug. Let's see. Next one, Unsightly. Read a comic / graphic novel / manga featuring a monster. For this one, I chose Witches by Scott Snyder. Now, Witches kind of features a little bit of a witch, but it's more of people's brains kind of snapping and getting crazy, and therefore killing people. So that was a good one that I read a long time ago. That was Witches by Scott Snyder. Check it out. Okay, car, take it easy. Angry Mob. Read a book recommended to you by more than one person. You know, I don't know. People have recommended me a bunch of like sci-fi books, but not really ones with monsters in them. I think one that I had just kind of seen buzzing around. It was, I think a friend told me that I should read Bird Box by Josh Malerman. That was kind of a spooky horror book. That was before the movie came out, or before they announced that a movie was going to be made. And that would apply, because that has quote-unquote monsters in it. Bird Box was really good. I enjoyed the book, and the movie was excellent. I enjoyed that as well. Let's see, Sacrifice, number 7. Read a book that you've seen in an unhaul video. I don't know. I don't keep track of all that stuff. So for this one, I chose Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. Somebody may have unhauled that. I think I might have unhauled that book because it was okay. I listened to the audio of that, and the narrator was kind of dull and drab, which kind of fits the mood of the book, because it's not supposed to be, you know, crazy and upbeat, but I feel like I hadn't gotten into the story as much because I was just kind of like, yeah, come on. So I unhauled that, you know, pre-booktube days, when it wasn't called Unhaul, it was just called trading in some of my books for money. So that was that one. Let's see. Next one, The Beasts. Read a book featuring a monster with plant or animal traits. This one I chose The Anomaly by Michael Rutger. And in The Anomaly, follows the story of some washed up TV celebrity, or I think he has like a YouTube channel where he goes exploring ruins of ancient prophecies and whatnot. And he's trying to re-spark his career, his video popularity, I suppose. So they go into a cave in a cave mouth that was said not to exist. They uncover it, so to speak, and him and his camera guy and his producer and some other person go into this cave to explore it to see what's in there. And then the story progresses, and yes, there are applicable monsters with plant or animal traits that they come across, and it kind of has a very claustrophobic, dark turn, somewhat like The Descent. Have you seen the movie The Descent? It's kind of off the wall, but they kind of get trapped in there and have to find their way out with monsters. Let's see, number 9, The Haunts. Read a book featuring a monster that is dead or undead. For that one, I chose Cannibal Nuns from Outer Space. That features Lucy, an incarnation of Lucifer, who turns a boy into a demon thing in the first 3 or 4 chapters, which is just kind of amazing. So and obviously there are things that are dead that are not dead. There's a lot of zombie books. The other one I recommend too is I, Zombie by Hugh Howey, because that takes the zombie novel to another level where it's written in the way that people can turn into zombies and they become undead. However, their mind is no longer in control of their body, but their mind is still real and still human and still kind of alive. So all of your thoughts just aren't like brains. That's just your body talking. But in your head still knows realistically what's going on. It describes the eating flesh when you are just kind of horrified, but you feel the sensation of eating. However, your mind is all the time screaming in horror, oh my god, what's happening? So I, Zombie by Hugh Howey was excellent. Number 10, let's see, The Conspiracies. Read a book featuring an alien robot or sci-fi creature. And for that one, I'll choose Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe by Alex Weitz. That features a alien sci-fi robot thing called Mother, and the group of misfits sci-fi space rangers come across this creature robot thing, and it starts killing people, so they have to run from it, and so on, and the story goes. So that was my Monsterathon tag. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy some good monster books. If you've read any of these, let me know. You'll check out all my other reviews for some of the books that I mentioned on my channel. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. Hit the bell icon, because we like bells. And I will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Read on, read happy, and here's another catchphrase. Got it. See ya, bye.